Hello, this is Andrew Gossage for Alpha Moon Studios, LLC. So, I'm going to be doing a series of tutorials, first on some basic programming, and then on some programming as it applies to video game development. Some of these videos, especially the ones on basic programming, are going to be available to the general public and will be just on YouTube. The rest of them, so there's going to be at least one video a month that's exclusive to our patrons over at Patreon, and I encourage you to go over there, and if you have the money, to become a patron for us so that we can keep developing video games for you and keep educating you on how to do so yourself. But today I'm just going to introduce you to a language called Lua. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go to a website called repl.it. What this is basically a programming environment where you can practice various different programming languages without having to download anything onto your computer to do so. Without having to mess with any settings in your computer, without having to download any kind of software, you can just do it straight on the browser. And like I said, I'm going to be introducing you to a language called Lua, which I believe was invented in the 80s or 90s in Brazil. Now, the reason I'm showing you Lua rather than something like Java or C++ is one, it's significantly easier than those languages. There's not all that much you have to learn in it. And two, later on down the line, I'm going to be making some tutorials on video game development. And the engine that I use most often when working with Alpha Moon Studios LLC is an engine called Dfold. And Dfold uses the Lua language for its programming. So when you do anything in Dfold, you'll have to know Lua. So let's get started. So the very first thing you'll want to know is what a variable is. So we all used variables in high school, junior high, right? In algebra, we learned to calculate things like 2 minus 1 equals x. So the answer is x equals 1, right? So x in math and in programming is a variable. It holds some information that we can manipulate or figure out or do whatever we want to, basically. And all of programming is based off variables. It's the most important thing. So the first thing we're going to learn how to do is how to create a variable. So in Lua, it's simple. You just give the variable a name. So you can name it something like, let's just go with x because that's the example I used before. So we can say x equals 2. Now we can do something with it. So Lua has a built-in function called print. And what this is going to do is it's going to print it over on this screen over here. So when I run this, we get 2. Beautiful. We can do some other stuff with it. We can say, now that we have x with a value, you can say x equals x times 1. Actually, let's make that times 12. Now when we get that, we get 24. Of course, 2 times 12 is 24. There's nothing special there. Now, this becomes cool when we say something like print, and then we'll give a little command here. So when you want to print what's called a string, meaning a string of letters or characters, you want to put it within either single quotes or double quotes. I like to use double quotes. I'll go into reasons why I do that another time, but basically, I'm just going to put a little prompt here. I'm going to say, enter a number, And then down here, I'm going to say enter another number. So we're going to say x equals io dot write. This is another built-in function. What this io is, it stands for input output. And this is a series of functions that are built into Lua. And so what we're saying here, oh sorry, not write, I want read. What we're saying here is we're saying that we want from the series of functions io, the dot is saying what comes after it is what we want. So what we want is read. So right now, all this does is this prints out what we put out. But now we'll add a little thing here. We'll say y equals io dot, I did it again, read. And then in the print call, we're going to say x times y. So when we run this, we'll say 67 and enter another number, we'll get 100. And then what we've made here is a program that takes 67 or whatever number we have and times it by the second number we enter. And of course we can do this with anything. Instead of x times y, we can have x divided by y. So we can say 6 divided by 3, of course, equals 2. So that's awesome. Now I want to show you something cool. Right now we've been working mostly outside of functions and only calling these built-in functions, but I want to show you real quick how you can write your own function. So what you're going to do is you're actually going to write the word function, and then you're going to give the function a name. You're going to say something like, we'll name it food, which is kind of a basic filler. And we'll say what we want to do. We want to print enter your name. And then we're going to say x equals io dot read, and then this is going to store a string when they enter in a string, which is pretty cool. It can get more than just numbers. It can get basically whatever you put into it. And then we're going to say x equals x, and then when we want to add something onto a string, we do dot dot, and then what we want to add onto it. I'm actually going to do this in reverse. I'm going to say your name is dot dot x. And then we are going to print x. And then when you want to end a function, you type end. Now, you notice if I run this program right now, it doesn't do anything. So what we need to do is we need to include a function call. So we just do that by calling the name of the function and giving it a pair of brackets. So now when I run this, enter your name. My name is Andrew Gossage. Thank you very much. And then it prints out your name is Andrew Gossage. All right, awesome. That's going to be the end of this today. I'm going to post this both on YouTube probably, and then also on the Patreon page. And like I said, more is to come. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you next time.